Hello, I am Phoebe Bob Kenny. This is the introduction to my new book, and I'm reading the introduction. I, Phoebe Bob Kenny, think of myself as one of the last of a breed that had roamed the plains of Greenwich Village in the 1950s and early 60s. In other words, I am the last of the beatniks. I lived my youthful life in a time of expressive poetry and literary discovery, a time of innocence and innovation, a time to be an individual who could be heard above the murmur of the crowd. We, the creative youth of provocation, of truth, now saw what we truly felt and the right to explore it. We sought to involve ourselves with everyone who related to the heartbeat of this generation of free thinkers, the beat poet of this world of individual expression. It all began with the publishing of the book On the Road, an adventure of companionship and free verse by the founder of the beat movement, Jack Kerouac. I read the book in 1959 and knew it was my calling. At this time, Greenwich Village was the mecca of coffeehouse poetry. Rooms like the Bitter End, Gaslight, and the Café Wa were in the forefront, just to name a few. McDougal Street was full of poets, artists, and folk singers during the most creative time. Bob Dylan and James Taylor, in their brilliant beginnings, could be seen on stage while the poets filled the gaps between the sets. It was truly a time of learning and seeking a higher place in our minds to explore expression of dreams. Until now, we never thought this could come true. We, the beatniks, a name given to us by our founder, could now pour forth our souls with the thoughts of love, the cries of hope, the longing for camaraderie. We wrote our words of wit and wonder, we sang our songs of fulfillment, we cried our lament of need and hunger to express our secret fears and our longing joys. We sprang all of this on a waiting world of eager minds, who in appreciation of our efforts would not applaud, but snap their fingers in unison. Yeah, man, that was cool. This was the mantra of the beat generation of lost poets. I once again here, with quill in hand, my mind free, my thoughts true to myself, I can reload the poems of my lost youth into the cannon fodder of my brain to fire forward in salvo my cannonballs of words that defend the treasure ships in the searching minds of those who seek to find the course beyond the rocks of tradition. I hope to be a poet again, and as I once was in the time of innocence, my poems, like the buffalo of old, set free to roam the cyberlands, to graze there without worry. I invite all who seek to find the solace of personal expression to join me. I invite you to roam here on these plains of the far-reaching imagination, imaginative mind, and mingle in the tall grass of being and find me, a single blade of grass, glistening among the billions of others who blend in with the sun and who bend and bay at the moon in this long, glistening day we call life. That's the introduction to my book, and I'm going to read the first poem from it. It's called The Edge of the Forest. At the edge of the forest lies a blade of grass. It is clustered in a patch of green growing moss, a mixture of weed, crab, and blade alike, all bathing in the morning dew. From this patch upon the hilly ground, I can see into the forest, the massive trees in all their majesty, the gentle flowers in full bloom. I am rooted in the earth, my vantage point strong and true. I see the flowers bloom around me. I see the weeds that try to push their way into prominence. I am a blade of grass. I blend in beautifully with the wonder and the world and all around it. Nature in all its beauty is my home. The wild bushes and foliage surround the serene calmness of the forest royal. I would go unnoticed if not for the glistening of my blade. Even those who are giant in size must notice me as I glisten in the rain. We, the grass that make the forest floor, are the staple of life. Without us, the landscape is bare. We cover the earth and make it live with the living green of life. We are the army of grass, compliments to the trees, the makers of beauty of the land. I, as but one of the many who trust, becomes a blazing blade of grass to all. That's from my book, Echoes of a Blade of Grass.
Cool. Did you do this?
A little snapping will do. Thank you. More to come.